call the meeting to order. Okay, the first item on our agenda is our trustee roll call. Christie is absent. John?
Here.
Chris? Here. Sharon? Here. Sonia? Here. Great. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda of this evening's meeting. Do I hear any motion for approval of this
I
evening?
move to approve tonight's meeting.
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next section of our agenda is just a review of our meeting norms and our procedural guidelines. Is anyone brand new to the meeting tonight? I think everybody, okay. So basically, we're trying to set up our norms and our protocols so that everyone has an opportunity to be able to hear and participate in the meeting without disrupting other people and making sure that we can conduct our business that we need to get taken care of tonight. So if you have any questions about any of the norms or guidelines, let us know. So the next item on the agenda is the public comment on items not on the agenda. So this is the opportunity for people to comment to items that are not on the agenda. So I see 2 hands up. Anyone else? No? 3? Okay. That's it? Okay.
I'd like to talk about another issue that I see.
Maybe I'll just remind people, if you don't mind introducing
My name's
yourselves.
Lauren Sandusky. I'm a manor parent. This is a conversation that I had with a community member named James. I believe his last name is pronounced Shu, who offered me this account regarding his experience with RBC parents that approached him. So this is what screenshot that he sent me. The RBC parents that approached me told me half-truths. Yes, it is true that my completion of the ITE form would be used to secure physical space from the district for my child to attend RBC. But in the case that I chose not to enroll my child at RBC, the whole truth is that the space would not be given back to White Hill Middle School. True, they told me it's a non-binding form, but the whole truth is that it has real consequences with respect to physical space allocated to RBC and taken from White Hill. I find the approach by RBC parents disappointing and unethical. Thanks again, James. That's just a community member's take on what's happening. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Jim, are you sure you've got the camera on?
Got the camera on?
Great. I'll look forward to seeing it on your site. So good evening. Good evening, everybody. This will be 3 minutes, don't worry. Andrea Summits once sat across a table from me years ago and attempted to paint a picture for me. In it, the existence of your charter would help the district in innumerable fuzzy ways, and that a little competition would be good for everyone. So I'm wondering where that vision went. Because instead, what I see is that we have this occupation of our middle school, hundreds of thousands of dollars in man-hours spent by this district catering to you and setting you up here in a space that is, I believe, over-allocated for your under-enrolled school, and a space that our whole community needs, not just the few. Our community has lost this valuable facility for our 6th grade students, and yet we continue to get multiple lawsuits from you demanding yet more. Lawsuits, I might remind the room, that are paid for by the deep pockets of the CCSA, who essentially are a group of extreme right-wing billionaire privatizers. They are. In fact, it's important to know that this charter and most of the laws behind it have been paid for by these same right-wing billionaire privatizers, because big money gets what big money wants. This charter is Goliath. Yet interestingly, you are a Goliath that constantly cries victim. Do you honestly not see that the system is set up in your favor? I mean, really? Probably you do see it though, and it's just inconvenient because it can't possibly be part of your narrative. So it's better to pretend you're the underdog. So it strikes me that you are here in a way that's remarkably similar to how Brett Kavanaugh got his new seat. He's legally there, for sure, but only through a twisted, favoritist, right-wing driven legal system. And is it right? Nope. Is it moral? Nope, absolutely not. We have a collective responsibility as citizens to take care of each other and to take care of our children. Squandering our resources on these hateful lawsuits of yours and on this redundant administration and on the occupation of a facility that our sixth grade students need is not responsible. Going door to door and accosting parents with children in the streets, like I've heard about, all in an attempt to gather ITE forms, is also not moral, in my opinion. So please, drop your lawsuits, and as I say every time I come here, drop Prop 39. You guys are supposed to be creative, outside of the box thinkers, so figure it out some other way and stop taking from the rest of us. Help restore this community and don't keep ripping it apart. Something else that's completely obvious to point out just while I'm here, I'm a socialist. I stand in support of public schools and in support of the public commons across this nation and for equal opportunity for all. I am a devoted volunteer and supporter of this district and all its students. So it's bizarre to me how many of you tried to make me personally out as an enemy. But whatever, sure, Luke can send me as many emails as he likes, and Jim Collier and his vicious and simultaneously absurd hate site can also keep having at it. I will not stand down. I will keep doing all I can to support this whole community and all of its students. This is the tragedy of the commons, to use a term from social science. This charter has single-handedly brought this tragedy into Fairfax and the Ross Valley. This charter is a small group of individual users who are, quote, acting independently according to their own self-interest and behaving contrary to the common good of all users, end quote. This is a shared resource system here on this earth and in this country, and it is definitely a limited resource system. So please, stop taking so much from the rest of us and stop hurting this community and stop hurting our children. Thank you.
Jen?
I'm Jen Wolf. I'm a parent at RBC. I'm also an employee, so perhaps I don't have, to put on my parent hat here. I see in many ways the way that this school can change a kid's life and change a parent's life. And I want to commend the staff and the teachers and the board in helping support these families and these kids. I think that's the big picture that I think I would like the community to carry away, and to say that we're doing something that may have unintended consequences. I understand that point of view. A lot of us understand that point of view.
Great.
We're not doing this blindly. But when you say that we're accosting parents in the community, I mean, I've seen you do the same thing, handing out your flyers.
That's not accosting, but
Well,
okay.
you're, but still, let's just say, you know, we're all doing things passionately, and I understand your point of view, but, you know, lawsuits are because people won't talk to us, and I think all of us should talk to each other more than just have our points of view. And that's what I wanna say, though. I really want everybody here to know that we all have different points of view, and we have different ways of getting there. But I would like to see more attention to that. And that's just how I would like to go forward. So whatever ways we can do that,
Sure.
I would love to have more of that. But I do see the contributions that happen here at this school as a parent and as a person who deals with all these families. So I just want you to know that ultimately some of these kids are gonna go to White Hill. My older daughter is going to White Hill now, and I think she was very well prepared by going here, and we should serve those families as well. Thank you.
Have My name is Jane Yavis. I'm a Ross Valley School District parent. My son goes to Brookside, he's in 4th grade, and I'm currently teaching the 2nd and 3rd grade class here at RVC. I served for 5 years in the district as the TK teacher, and enjoyed the experience. I met a lot of wonderful teachers that I'm also now working with, and a lot of other wonderful teachers that my son has had over the years. And I guess what I just want to say is I sort of feel like, I walk into every one of these rooms. I had 102 TKers in the district over the years. Happy families, moved on, blood, sweat, and tears over there, I gotta tell you. And I walk into these classrooms, and what I know is that there's a large percentage, almost entire percentage of ADA students, and they are our district children. They are housed in this facility. So when I come here as a teacher and I walk into a room, I see my students, I see the children. I worked in another town, at a school, and in that same town, there was a school that was also a charter. I did not know that there was a charter school in that town. There were not signs, there were not those kinds of things, and they had a lot of arguments for many years. They argued in boardrooms and they argued in courtrooms, is where they argued. But the kids, to my knowledge, did not have any real insight on what was going on. And it's very apparent in this community. My husband's also a government employee. I'm a public school teacher. We've done our very best to squeeze ourselves into San Anselmo so our son could be in this community. And it's just sort of mind-blowing to me that this is happening in front of the children. And I guess that's just, for everything. And I completely understand facilities and allocation. I completely understand logistics. I completely understand finances. And I also know that when the district offers an extremely challenging or unfair and unusable space, that now they have to maybe go back to court, and not always, in total agreement. I've had my mixed feelings all along the way. But I'm furious that the district would offer something where now they have to go and deal with either a complaint, because there's no way for this school to utilize that space in a safe and child-approached way. There's no way to bus special needs kids during the day when all of these kids are housed in our classrooms. Here, they do actually make sure that all kids are taught in the classrooms, and they get pulled out for a certain period of time. So when I heard that that space was offered as a Ross Valley School District parent, I was infuriated. I'm like, what? So now you just want to go back to court? RVC cannot not use the space, because that wouldn't be right. They can't use the space because it doesn't work for kids. So we were left with no option but to either, follow some sort of more procedural way to find another space and make it work. It doesn't work. But I see that as a teacher, because I'm here, and I know the amount of space they have. And unless, they share my classroom while I'm in it, there's no other space. So what I'm saying is, as a district parent, I was infuriated, by that extra time, because my son is, also affected by here. But my son is affected by other children in the district. These are children in the district. That's what he's affected by. So that's okay. Because when he grows up, people in his community are gonna affect him all the time. And the things that happen here around this district, and dare I say, because I've worked in places where we didn't have like copy machines for everybody, or luxury. These are all good schools here. They are magnificent. But that this is being brought to our kids, that there's a sign when I drive up. I don't care what you guys say to me. I said, anyone who had a question when I moved over here, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me, I will tell you why. With a great love still for Bennett School. So I am on both sides of the fence, and if anybody wants to ask me some questions about maybe why that move happened, or maybe why I'm here, or what I think of this school in comparison to schools in a district where I worked not only at Wade Thomas, but also at Brookside for 4 years, come and talk to me. I am available to you. But this is no longer okay in front of our children. It's not okay with the children. Agreement or not, facilities or not, we don't argue in front of kids. If I have an argument with my husband, I text him, tell him, take your text. How you doing, Ben? We try our best. It's not perfect every day, but for the most part, boardrooms and courtrooms. this is the place to do this. Thank you for letting me share.
Stephen, I'm sorry I didn't catch you, but we're not having people sit at Emily's desk.
Oh, that's okay, sorry.
You want my,
I just wanted to say thank you. You know, there has been a lot of heat in the community, and I'm glad that my kids have some place to go where I know the adults share my values about what is appropriate behavior around children, the values around, you know, how to deal with conflict and how to model that in a respectful way. I mean, aside from the fact that I know, you know, my child wasn't thriving at a district school and is now doing so much better. And now will be academically prepared for middle school, which was not the track he was on, in the K-5 program at Manor. I'm just grateful for the people in this community, and I'm grateful for the love that this community has for each other and how that's what we surround the kids with. And so I just want you all to know that I'm every day I'm grateful for all of you.
Hear, hear,
Thank
I second and third that with my two kids.
Anyone else?
Well, maybe just one point, that when the Ross Valley School District put RBC proposal together, it was for, I think, 210 students. And so I don't see why there should be so much anger and back and forth when we're only filling a small portion of that, you know, 140 to 160, when it seems like the anger is misdirected towards RBC, where the question should be going to the district. Just like you said, 210 kids are going to be able to fit in this school, so